Have you ever wondered why certain foods are banned in the United States? Do you think you're eating foods that could be harmful or banned in the US? Are you curious about the reasons behind the banning of certain foods in this country? Today, we're diving into a topic that might surprise you: the top 10 banned foods in the United States. Now, you might be wondering why certain foods are banned in a country known for its culinary diversity. Well, stick around because we're going to uncover the reasons behind these bans and offer a summary of what you need to know about each banned food. Now, let's unravel the mystery behind these banned foods through the world of food regulations in the US. Curious about the so-called green fairy alcoholic beverage? Coming in at top 10 of the banned food in the US is absinthe. It gained notoriety in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. However, it was also feared and misunderstood, leading to its prohibition in the United States and several other countries. This beverage was historically banned in the United States for a significant period due to concerns over its supposed hallucinogenic properties and potential health risks. The primary concern was the presence of thujone, a chemical compound found in wormwood, one of the key ingredients of absinthe. Thujone was believed to have psychoactive effects, leading to hallucinations and madness. While modern research has shown that the thujone levels in absinthe were not as high as once thought and were unlikely to cause the reported hallucinogenic experiences, the damage was done, and absinthe was banned in the US. However, in 2007, the ban was lifted and the green spirit made a comeback. Regulations were put in place to limit the thujone content in absinthe to safe levels, ensuring it was no more dangerous than any other alcoholic beverage. Today, you can find absinthe in liquor stores and bars across the United States, and it has regained popularity among cocktail enthusiasts. It's often served by dripping ice-cold water over a sugar cube, a method known as louching, which causes the drink to turn cloudy and release its complex flavors and aromas. Do you think you can eat something that's rotten? Jumping in at top 9 is the food called casu marzu. This traditional Sardinian delicacy is made from sheep's milk and is renowned for its unconventional production process, which gained notoriety for being banned in the United States and several other countries. What sets it apart is the intentional introduction of cheese flies. To create casu marzu, the cheese is exposed to cheese flies, which lay their eggs on the cheese. The eggs hatch into larvae within the cheese. The larvae feed on the cheese, breaking down its fats and proteins. This fermentation process softens the cheese, giving it a creamy texture. Before consumption, the casu marzu is typically sifted or the larvae are removed. Some prefer to eat the cheese with the larvae, considering it a delicacy. Controlling the safety of casu marzu is difficult due to the potential for bacterial contamination from the flies and larvae. The risk of foodborne illnesses is high. The presence of live insect larvae in a food product raises significant health and safety concerns, which violates the U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA) strict regulations to prevent the consumption of foods that may pose health risks. What ingredient in culinary and medicinal preparations is banned in the U.S.? At top 8 is the sassafras oil. The banning of sassafras oil in food products stems from research indicating that saffrole, a major component of sassafras oil, can be carcinogenic, cancer-causing in laboratory animals. Studies found that when rodents were exposed to high levels of saffrole, they developed liver tumors. It's important to note that the doses used in these studies were much higher than what would typically be consumed through food. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA) took a precautionary approach. While sassafras oil is banned as a food additive, it is still used in some non-food products, such as perfumes and soaps, due to its pleasant fragrance. Additionally, sassafras flavor in root beer is still produced and sold, but it is typically made without saffrole, using alternative flavoring agents that mimic the original taste. Which food that costs $7,000 to $22,000 per kilo is banned in the U.S.? Next up at top 7 is beluga caviar. This luxurious food item comes from the roe eggs of the beluga sturgeon, a species native to the Caspian Sea and Black Sea regions. The beluga sturgeon has been classified as a critically endangered species by the International Union for Conservation of Nature (UTIR). Overfishing, habitat degradation, and pollution have significantly reduced their population. The Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES, is an international agreement aimed at ensuring that international trade in wild animals and plants does not threaten their survival. Beluga sturgeon and their caviar are listed in CITES Appendix IE, which means they are subject to strict trade regulations. The U.S. has implemented the CITES regulations by banning the importation of beluga caviar and products made from beluga sturgeon roe. This ban has been in place for several years to help protect the species and prevent the U.S. from contributing to its decline. To meet the demand for caviar, consumers and chefs in the U.S. have turned to alternatives like sustainable caviar from other sturgeon species or even non-sturgeon sources like salmon and trout. These alternatives are considered environmentally responsible and legal. The ban on beluga caviar in the U.S. is part of a broader effort to protect this endangered species from overharvesting and potential extinction. Curious as to what fruit is potentially toxic and is banned in the U.S., this is ackee fruit at top 6. Ackee is a bright red fruit that grows on the ackee tree. The fruit is typically pear-shaped and is divided into 3 sections. Inside, you'll find glossy, black seeds surrounded by creamy, pale yellow flesh. The primary reason for the ban on ackee in the U.S. is its potential toxicity. Unripe ackee fruit contains a high level of hypoglycin A, which when ingested can lead to a condition known as Jamaican vomiting sickness (IVVS) symptoms of JVs include vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration, and in severe cases can lead to coma or death. To mitigate these risks, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA) has strict regulations regarding the importation and sale of ackee. It's only permitted if it meets specific safety standards, including being harvested when fully ripe and properly prepared to remove the toxic elements. Canned ackee that meets these criteria is available in some specialty stores and Caribbean markets in the U.S. To safely enjoy ackee, it must undergo a careful preparation process. The fruit must be allowed to ripen naturally on the tree, ensuring that the levels of hypoglycina drop to save levels. After harvesting, the ackee pods are opened and the inner flesh is carefully separated from the seeds and the surrounding red membrane. The flesh is then boiled for an extended period to further remove any remaining toxins. Finally, it can be cooked with seasonings and other ingredients to create traditional dishes like ackee and saltfish, which dish is a beloved delicacy in Scotland, but is banned in the U.S. At top 5 is a food called haggis. Haggis is a traditional Scottish dish that consists of minced sheep's heart, liver, and lungs, mixed with oatmeal, sweet onions, and various spices, all encased in a sheep's stomach and cooked. The primary reason for the ban on haggis in the U.S. is related to food safety regulations. The U.S. Department of Agriculture (USD) prohibits the import of haggis that contains sheep's lungs, which is a key ingredient in traditional haggis recipes. The concern is that sheep's lungs can carry pathogens or diseases that may pose a risk to human health if not properly handled and cooked. While haggis enthusiasts argue that modern food preparation methods have made the dish safe to eat, the USDA has maintained its restrictions on the import and sale of haggis containing sheep's lung. In response to this ban, some producers in the U.S. have created variations of haggis using alternative ingredients, such as beef or pork lungs, to comply with the regulations while attempting to capture the essence of the traditional Scottish dish. Do you know the food called fugu? Where did this originate? Well, you will know all about it at top 4. It's the banned food in us, the Japanese pufferfish. Japanese pufferfish, also known as fuga, is a unique and notorious delicacy in Japan. The main reason for the ban on Japanese pufferfish in the U.S. is the presence of tetrodotoxin, a potent neurotoxin found in various parts of the fish, such as the liver, skin, and ovaries. Tetrodotoxin can cause paralysis, respiratory failure, and even death if ingested in sufficient quantities. This toxin has led to numerous cases of food poisoning and fatalities in Japan and other countries. To mitigate these risks, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA) enforces stringent regulations regarding the sale and preparation of food. Only a limited number of licensed and highly trained chefs are allowed to handle and serve fug. These chefs must undergo rigorous training and pass a demanding examination to obtain their licenses. They learn how to carefully remove the toxic parts of the fish, ensuring that only safe portions are served to customers. Additionally, fugu imported into the United States must meet specific safety standards and be sourced from approved suppliers who follow strict guidelines for handling and processing the fish. These measures are in place to protect consumers from the potentially deadly consequences of consuming improperly prepared food. How is this food that symbolizes status and wealth banned to be consumed in the U.S.? At top 3 is the shark fins. Shark fin soup is a traditional Chinese dish that has been consumed for centuries, primarily as a symbol of status and wealth. The main ingredient, shark fins, are harvested through a cruel and unsustainable practice known as shark finning. This process involves catching sharks, cutting off their fins, and then discarding the often still living sharks back into the ocean. The Shark Finning Prohibition Act of 2000 banned the practice of shark finning in U.S. waters. This means that fishermen are required to bring sharks to shore with their fins naturally attached. Several U.S. states have gone a step further by implementing complete bans on the sale, possession, and distribution of shark fins. States like California, Hawaii, Illinois, New York, and Oregon have enacted such bans to curb the demand for shark fin products. The United States also plays a role in international efforts to combat shark finning. In 2011, it signed the Shark Conservation Act, which strengthens the existing federal law by closing loopholes and improving enforcement measures. Now at top 2, which animal meat is believed to contain a drug that can cause suppression of white blood cells in human. It's the horse meat. Horse meat has been a topic of controversy and debate in the United States for many years. It has been banned for human consumption, which dates back to the early 20th century and is rooted in a combination of cultural, historical, and safety concerns. Horses are often seen as more than just livestock. They are regarded as loyal companions, and eating their meat is considered taboo by many. The safety concerns associated with horse meat consumption have played a significant role in its ban. Unlike other livestock, horses are often treated with medications and drugs that are not approved for use in animals intended for human consumption. One notable example is phenylbutazone, commonly known as bute, which is administered to horses to relieve pain and inflammation. Bute is not approved for use in food animals because of its potential adverse effects on human health, including the risk of aplastic anemia, a serious and sometimes fatal blood disorder. In addition to safety concerns, public opinion and animal welfare considerations have also contributed to the ban. The transportation and slaughter of horses for meat can be controversial due to issues related to the humane treatment of animals. These factors have led to its exclusion from the list of foods permitted for human consumption, reflecting the complex relationship between humans and horses in American society. Now at the top spot of our list, do you have a guess for this? Curious as to which food is often enjoyed by kids because of the chocolate and surprises it has inside. At top 1 is Kinder Surprise eggs. Often referred to as Kinder eggs, have been banned in the United States for several decades. This ban is primarily due to concerns about the potential choking hazard posed by the small toy inside the chocolate egg. The ban on Kinder Surprise eggs falls under the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, which prohibits the sale of any confectionery product with a non-nutritive embedded object. In the case of Kinder eggs, the small plastic toy inside the chocolate shell is considered a non-nutritive item, making the product illegal for sale in the U.S. The small toy inside Kinder eggs is considered a non-food item, and the FDA is concerned that young children might accidentally swallow or choke on these small parts. Therefore, the sale and importation of Kinder Surprise eggs have been banned in the United States. However, it's worth noting that there are alternatives available in the U.S., such as Kinder Joy, which is a variation of the product that separates the toy from the candy to comply with U.S. regulations. Thank you for tuning in on this eye-opening journey through the top 10 banned foods in the United States. Which of these foods do you enjoy? Is there other food that aren't on the list? Comment down the banned food that you know. It's essential to be aware of what we consume and the regulations in place to ensure our safety. These bans are in place to protect public health, but it's also crucial to stay informed and make informed choices when it comes to our diets. If you find this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit from this knowledge. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content on food, health, and lifestyle. Remember, making informed choices about what we eat is a step towards a healthier and safer future. Stay curious, informed, and stay healthy. Thank you for being a part of our community. See you in the next video.